Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to No Frills Tuesday. Can't believe it's Tuesday. Listen, time goes by really, really fast. So let's talk about jumping right into it today with some action steps to grocery savings. One of the best things we could begin to do, especially if this is the beginning of a new year, turning a new leaf, brand new, clean slate. Why don't we just get started with our beginning to stockpile for our foods in our own pantries? We have to plan for our emergency stockpile. It is so important. It is more important than ever. We just do not know what could ever happen in general in life. You could be on a layoff that you did not expect to happen, or a medical situation, or times are tough, or the weather is really, really bad. You see where I'm going with this? So, why don't we get started with that? And we should take a designated amount of money that we plan every single week. Some people use the $5, some people use whatever they can, whatever it is. I don't care how much it is. But if you do that good thing every single week, every time you do a grocery haul, and include or incorporate within that haul a couple of things to get started to put away for your emergency pantry stockpile. I think that should be like one of the best things to begin this brand new year. I really, really mean it. And that is definitely an action step to take to grocery savings, because especially if you could get those items that you do use on sale, it stands to reason you're going to want to stockpile it. Figure out a way, figure out a place to store your emergency stuff. We'll talk more about that in future shows. All right, another thing, let's get down to actual food where we could stretch our grocery budget. Shred up homemade chicken. You know, like when you do like shredded pork instead of pork, because sometimes pork could be expensive. It could be sometimes. Or you just don't like pork, or you rather work with chicken. Shred it up with barbecue sauce and make your own sliders. It is just that simple. It is just that simple. You could do all these things with your crock pot while you're very busy. That's helping you out. You're doing other things, and you can have an easy peasy meal on the cheap. That's an actionable step, doing something simple and easy, but you're still going to save money. I'm just saying, as I turn my page here. It's really important because we all know that meat prices can be from the sublime to the ridiculous, but a really good method whenever you're working with meat, if you enjoy eating meat, for example, is to bulk it up. I just made a most wonderful meatloaf the other day, this past Saturday. And who inspired me with this specific meatloaf was actually Steve Young 74, just to mention to you, because his dad actually handed him down this recipe. And I said, I'm going to try this. And I tried it a few years ago, and I just fell head over heels in love with this meatloaf recipe. And basically, you use oatmeal as the bulk. Okay, inside of it, you do not taste oats. Okay, when you prepare this, so I prepare my meatloaf the way I like it with my canned tomato sauce. I even use like a little bit of flavored Italian breadcrumbs, Parmesan cheese, one egg. I put it all together, and I eyeball it. I put in like let's say a handful of oats. I throw it into that. I mix it all up, and I toss it all in the oven for 350 degrees for 45 minutes. Anywhere from 40 to 45 minutes at 350. Ovens vary. So it comes out delish. And because in addition to it, I do use the tomato sauce, a half a can inside, a half a can on the exterior. It is so moist and juicy. But I was shocked and amazed how it plumps up and it expands the meat. Oh my word, I was so full. I kid you not. So definitely take a hint from using items that can bulk up a meal. Okay, so you can make a meal with meat. Not necessarily the meat doesn't always have to be the star of the show. Okay, it could be making a cameo appearance, if you will, like for example in a stir fry. And you see where I'm going with this, but really, really good. And definitely make low cost ingredient recipes, like for example the egg fried rice that I mentioned on Monday's show. These are action steps action steps to deliciousness and to saving. So if you use boneless chicken breast and you get a really good deal on it, stretch that even further. How? By butterflying across the thick chicken meat. So thick, those original chicken breasts, really much too thick in my opinion. So I like to semi-freeze it because I'm a lousy cutter. I'm left-handed. I'm just horrible at cutting things. But when I have something semi-frozen, it's a lot easier for me to work with it. So then I go across, okay, and I get two from one. And then I like to pound it down, flatten it out, like get a little sort of a mallet or whatever you have that could pound down the chicken. And you're going to get a ton of chicken cutlets out of that. And to me, you just gave yourself a 50% discount on your chicken. And you could do so many things with the chicken. It's sort of like a blank canvas, if you will. All right. So, like if you tell your kids you're not going to have meat, and sometimes kids are like, no, I love meat, right? But if you say, no, we're going to do pizza night tonight without even like mentioning the no meat thing, say tonight's pizza night, and you learn how to make your own pizza, which by the way is a lot of fun. It's customizable. You can have your kids figure out what they want, learn how to make, for example, a no yeast dough. And by the way, I have to get a bunch of those, whatchamacallit, those storage bags. I ran out of those recently. I have to get a bunch of those because I'm going to make my own pre-mix for the pizza, where all I have to do is end up adding the oil and the water. So everything else, all the dry ingredients, I'll have them pre-measured. And anytime I want to make a pizza, everything's already pre-measured, done. I don't have to buy a box of pizza mix. I could just add oil and water. Hello. These are things that we could do. We have to find these little tricks and tips that end up saving money. For example, a 2-pound sack of flour. I cannot tell you how many things I got from a 2-pound, just 2 pounds, 2-pound sack of flour. So if you're out of the habit of ever using flour, strong recommendation, get it. Even if you have to use an empty coffee can to store it in. I'm not even kidding you. And then eventually get yourself a canister set. I saved so much money. I made so many things, I kid you not, from this 2-pound sack of flour recently. I was like, I just got re-energized into like making more things from scratch in the kitchen. I don't like looking at items that have so many scientific laboratory sounding words on the back of the box. I'm like, no, I rather eat things that say things like flour, water, sugar. You see where I'm going with this, like basic stuff. To me, that is a healthier route. And at the end of the day, it turns out to be a less costly thing to do if you're really, really careful. Okay. If you're really, really careful. So these are just a few things to think about. And I say, why not? No frills videos usually are 5 minutes or less. But today, the action steps I had to mention, I went a little bit over time by about 3 minutes. I hope you don't mind about that. But these steps are really, really important. Don't forget to come back later for my longer form content, which is about the length of time you just heard this one. But normally a no frills video is shorter. But these important steps, which is too important to miss out on. Don't forget to click like, share, and please subscribe. Thank you very much.